Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the most fun double platoon tank, at least in my personal opinion, that you can get in World of Tanks Blitz. Now, I will say, you will have to drop some money to get your hands on this vehicle, as it is a premium tank. But getting into very fun double platoons in general, a lot of them are usually autoloaders, because as you know, let's say you're doing a double Progetto 65, which is technically an autoloader. It's an auto reloader, but we'll put it into the category of auto-loading vehicles. Well, I guess I'm just going to scroll forever. If we get onto the Progetto, they're really fun to double platoon because you're able to clip out 2,100 hit points in a matter of 6 seconds combined. That means that any tier 10 medium, you and your platoon mate are able to clip if you rush it correctly. That's really, really impressive. And that's why clippers are extremely fun. Another good example would be double AMX 50B, where you rush around a hill, you're dealing 2,400 damage combined, which is killing even some of the average heavy tank hit point pools. So double platoons clippers are very, very fun. So what's a clipper? That many of you know is one of my favorite tanks in the game. And then we get that clipper and we bring it even more fun. So we get the tier 7 light tank. You all know what it is, the AMX 1357, the Mosquito. I have made probably 3 or 4 videos on this tank just this year because I love it so much. And while I'm talking about it, I'll get some gameplay out because why not? I've got 3 starter replays here, so let's start off with the one on Canyon. So the AMX 1357 is an extremely fun tank because, if you're not aware about it, the way the French name their tanks is actually pretty cool, and I think it's the smartest naming system out of all the countries, at least in real life, because they name it 13 is the ton. So AMX 5100 weighs 50 tons. AMX 25T or Bat Chatillon 25T weighs 25 tons. Then it is the caliber of the gun. So it's AMX 1357 as the caliber. So this thing has a 6-shell autoloader, a 57mm dealing 90 damage per shot with 6 shells. So it's dealing about 500-ish damage a clip, like 550 or so, which is pretty dang fun. It's really exciting as well when you do double platoon because that is 12 57mm shells flying at the enemy. You can see here I was platooning with my big old friend Oss, and we were pretty much deciding we're going to run right over the ridge, try and clip whatever we can, and dip right back into cover. And it's just so fun to be able to clip people. You don't really get out the most damage in this vehicle. I pretty much say that every single time you play this tank, you don't expect to get damage out. But one thing you can expect is to not only win a lot, because this thing's got a really quick clip reload of only about 10 seconds. I think it's actually less than 10, which is very impressive when you do think about it. It's a very quick little nippy tank. Wargaming even made it a lot smaller lately, which makes it really, really good at just dipping into enemy tanks, but it's such a fun vehicle to run. You can see that you're always in the action. You're always shooting at somebody. I thought I could actually shoot through that barrel there because the tank's lining was up, but you can see me and my friend there shot him for 268 in just literally 1.5 seconds. So now reload the clip and I'm almost already reloaded. That's why this tank is so fun in a double platoon because, well, there's a T-29, and as you can see, I told him, I said, okay, there's a T-29 that's about to cross in the open. You can see him pretty much, is going to be lined up right behind me, and here we go, aiming in at the side of a T-29. 172, 373, 558, 700, 870, another shell, 1,028 damage on a T-29. That is crazy how much damage we were able to rip off of that vehicle in a matter of 6 seconds combined. And while we didn't absolutely ruin his entire tank, it's still crazy. And then I'm already reloaded, already back in action, getting 1 shell into him, clipping him. Now I got the side of him after I've gotten a really nice track shell in, and there goes my friend once again, clipping him out. So there's another vehicle clipped, taken out from the enemy team. So you can see you don't really get the most damage out with this vehicle. I'm only about 1,500, which isn't a ridiculous amount. You could go play an Annihilator or a Smasher, and you could argue that, yeah, double Annihilator is the best platoon to win every single game because it's a ridiculously overpowered tank. However, my personal opinion is the most fun platoon where you can get really, really exciting games out. Again, we are just double clipping this poor IS here. And even though we're not petting all of our shells, we still took off 814 hit points. And in 5 more seconds, I've already got the clip reloaded. This tank may seem overpowered. You may be looking at it and be like, oh, this tank is absolutely overpowered. Well, it has a couple issues going for it. And the biggest issue is the penetration. I actually don't run calibrated on it, which you may be thinking, wait a sec, this is an autoloader. Autoloaders you always want to run cali because there's really not much of an advantage when you're running provision, or not provisions, but the equipment improved ventilation. You think that, yeah, there's not really any advantages. Well, I run improved because it makes it just that little bit better on terrain crossing capacity, gives it a little bit more DPM, better view range, apart from running calibrated, because look how bad the pen is. 205 premium pen is so bad that even with Cali on, it's not going to make a difference. If you're trying to penetrate the front of an IS-3, an IS-5, a Tiger 2, good luck, because you're not going to be penning them. It really just doesn't ever pen. Even the side of vehicles like an AT-15, your standard can't get through, and your premium struggles to get through. So this tank, first of all, its big killer is the premium pen. Second of all, you may be thinking, well, it's only got a 9.1 second reload. Wow, it's that quick. 9.1 second reload for the whole clip. And then you start clipping again for 500 damage. And you may think that that's really good DPM, and while it isn't bad at like 2200, it's not the best because it's actually the same as an AMX 1375. And even though the 1375 is a longer clip reload, the thing is that the 1375 gets all of its shells out in like 3 seconds. It goes bing, 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 gets all shells out, and then you reload the whole clip. Where this tank takes a whole 5 seconds to dump out the clip, which adds into the reloading time. So really, it's got about the same DPM as the AMX 1375, but would you rather run an AMX 1375 or run the exact same vehicle with a much more exciting type of playstyle? I can actually say that this tank is most likely worse than the AMX 1375 because you got to rely on more shells. Of course, the 1375, you go bing, 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 you get all these shells out. This tank, you got to do it for literally 6 shells, sit out in the open, it takes you longer to unload it. It's definitely a more unreliable tank, but we were thinking, oh, if we catch this AT-15 out in the open, oh, you know it's going to struggle. And yeah, even with not penning all of our shells, we still took off about 600 hit points from that guy. Pretty dang impressive. And unfortunately, he bounced a bunch of his shells, so already we've gotten 600 out, and I'm already reloaded. That's what's so insane, is you don't realize how quick the clip reload is until you've already reloaded. And then once again, we just went to the side of this AT. There's 3 shells into him there, so that's 316 hit points taken off, and then we just leave them brought. So we've brought what was a full health AT-15, about, 1,500-ish hit points down to nothing. And even though we are driving through the entirety of the enemy team, we still got out pretty unscathed, aiming in. Oh yeah, that was a bit of a fail there, driving into my Annihilator, but I've just got my auto aim on, letting them aim into the lightweight here, and just driving away as quickly as possible because, yeah, you can see I'm not super healthy on the hit points, and that whole Intrepid only brought me up to 600 damage. But again, it was so fun. We didn't lose any games we played in this vehicle, and I guess the reason for that being is because these tanks are so annoying, and they cause so much havoc that, especially in a double platoon, you're able to just distract the entire enemy team. You can imagine how annoying it is, and wait until you see the next replay. That's by far the best one. It was actually the first platoon we did in it. But let's put an example. The Centurion 1 over here. Now this Centurion is now getting 4,000 DPM unloaded on him. He just lost 500 health from my platoon mate, and now I'm clipping him, right? So he's already lost 790 plus another 2 shells there. So that's just about 1,000 hit points we've clipped off of the Centurion. And now my friend's already got the clip loaded once again. He's dumping into him, and now I'm dumping into the rear. Again, this Centurion just dead. That's it. We've already clipped 600 again off that Centurion. So in that whole amount of time, we cleared that guy. It's crazy how much damage they're able to output. And in double platoon, honestly, I do find them quite OP. We played against a lot of tier 8s. We played about 15 games in total with double AMX 1357. And we actually felt like total scumbags after it because we felt toxic. You just get to the side of vehicles here. And again, I'm just going to use my auto aim and clip this guy to hell. There you go, finishing off the IS. And even though I was so close to getting killed there, 4 health for me, and he was sitting at 25 health, combined 29, we still were able to do pretty dang good. And even though I only did 1,379 damage, that game seems like I did 2,500, 3,000 because I was driving, shooting every second I could. It still only did 1,376, and he did 1,900, but nonetheless, it's still super fun to do it. And who cares if you don't do necessarily the best? None of the AMXs get the most ridiculous damage out. The Batchatillon 25T, it does a decent job of getting damage out lately, after they've buffed it quite a bit. And the Tier 9 does a pretty good job, same for the AMX 1390, but you don't expect to get out ridiculous amounts. Like Tier 7 in an Annihilator, I average 3,000 in the Annihilator. Today, I maybe average 2,000 in this tank. That's a big difference on damage. However, we still won quite a bit. If we skip ahead here, you will see that that I get in the position, and this was by far the most exciting game I played by all of them. And I'm actually going to start doing streams with us. I think that we both talked about it. I think that's a really cool idea. We're going to start doing streams every now and then. So we had, first of all, this VK30, and he set out in the open. So 400, 500, 600, and he's dead. There you go. That's a full health tier. It's a full health tier 6 already clipped out, and he's gone. So there goes one take on the enemy team. Then we had the SU-152. And even though we didn't pen all of our shells, you can see here, we got kind of unfortunate on those first shells. There you go. Bing, 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 bing. It's just insane. 711 hit points, dead. That's 2 tanks we fully clipped out and already are dead on the enemy team. And then we just start reloading again. Now, the Cheeto, this guy, yeah, this is where the premium pen struggles. Even with Cali, it wouldn't have made a difference. Boom, 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 boom. We got 1 shell out. And yeah, there you go. So I did 82 damage from that whole clip, and that was all premium. Yeah, you can imagine how expensive that clip was. Thankfully, I'm running credit booster, so it doesn't affect me too much. And as well, you know, when you're sitting at 270 million credits, doesn't really affect you all that much. But nonetheless, crazy stuff going on so far here. That was an awful shot. We're not talking about that one. But the second one was pretty good. Instantly reloading that clip. And the enemy team, we've already withered down to 4 tanks left. Even though our team's not doing the best, it didn't really matter too much. I said, let's target the Annihilator. So here we go. Shooting at that Annihilator. 358. Oh, we missed that one. That one was actually kind of sad. So I took 358 off. Unfortunately, yeah, still lost 620 health over there pushing on him. But still, that full health Annihilator with me and him shooting at him already clipped him down to pretty much no health. Now, I knew that I couldn't shoot the Annihilator, so I'm like, okay, I'll go for this KV-1S. Yeah, still couldn't get shots out on him. This was quite unfortunate. That shell and that shell, just what? Okay, Wargaming. Those 2 shells bounced. We're sitting at 1,400 damage now. There's 2 takes left on the enemy team. We got the Cheeto SPG, and we got another Annihilator. And I didn't know they had another Annihilator until I ran around this corner, and oh boy, you can bet that this was a farm fest. So here we go, ripping this Annihilator apart. So I took off 600-ish hit points from the Annihilator, and then Oz is clipping out the Annihilator. So that's 800, 900, 1,000, 36 hit points taken off. And now I'm going to start shooting him again. It's crazy. He shoots the clip, I shoot the clip. He shoots, I shoot. It is so insane on the DPM this vehicle has. I saved 3 shells on my clip. One nice thing is that you've always got plenty of shells to finish off the enemy tanks. You never feel bad about killing a 20 health opponent. There's 1 shell into the Cheeto SPG. There's 2, there's 3. And Oz finishes him off. I gave him a little bit of a love tap there as well. And there you go. Finished off their enemy team. So this is, in my opinion, and a pretty strong opinion at that, the most fun double platoon you can possibly pull out in Blitz. One thing that's sad is that I've made now 3, almost 4 or 5 videos on this tank. Actually, technically to New Year. So this is the first video I've made of this tank in this year. And it's been now 2 years, and Wargaming has still not released this tank, and everybody wants to get it, because I keep saying how fun it is, how it's one of my favorite tanks in the game, and it never comes into the stores, and I don't know why. It's such a fun vehicle, and everybody wants to get it. I guess it's just because nobody bought it when it came out, because everybody thought, it's just a bad tank. Get it if it comes out. If it's 20 bucks, anything less than that, it's such a fun vehicle. I always say you can't put a price on fun. Well, you can. You know, obviously $1,000 is ridiculous, but you can't put a price on having fun. And $20, I would actually say, is worth it for this vehicle. $20 and less, because it's such a fun vehicle. I love it. I wish it was a tech tree vehicle, but that's one thing. And I can say this isn't Wargaming endorsing me. It's not going to come out tomorrow. Well, imagine if it does come out tomorrow. But this isn't Wargaming endorsing me in any way, because I'd have to say Wargaming is telling me to say this tank is good or something like that. It's actually a legal thingy. But hopefully you enjoyed today's video. As always, if you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, to be seeing you in the next one.